What is the most surprising story or memorable story that you've ever covered in business?
I've covered so many strange stories. One of the most fun was a piece that I did for the Talk of the Town section of The New Yorker many years ago, where I had written a story about a guy who had killed his show horse for the insurance money. And he was an enormously rich guy and ended up going to jail for it. And in the process of reporting that, I interviewed this private investigator who said to me, I've got a much better story for you than that. And he told me about some guys who'd been killing show cows for the insurance money.
Oh my goodness.
And so I went to this crazy private investigator in some little hotel room in New Jersey where he had his guns and his pork and beans cans and stuff like that all scattered around the room, and his telescope and stuff. And he starts telling me about this extraordinary story where he'd been investigating these two guys who had been allegedly killing their show horses for insurance money, and one of them was like a champion breeder of show cows, and one of them was a show cow judge. And he had called them at one point, and he said, without much evidence, he said, I'm on to you. And within 24 hours, both of them committed suicide.
Oh,
and this was just
wow.
such a bizarre story. It felt like I was in a Coen Brothers movie. And so I would say that was one of the single strangest experiences. I'm not sure it had any elevated, higher meaning to it, but it was just an incredible story.
It's so interesting because really you think about that type of corruption in much more high stakes sort of businesses, maybe technology or,
but apparently these show cows could be worth $250,000. And one of the things, I mean, it was bizarre. The whole thing was kind of comic and ridiculous and tragic at the same time. So this private investigator said to me the telltale clue for him was that the cow in question needed an udder halter. And he said to me, these cows are supposed to be like Marilyn Monroe. It shouldn't have needed an udder halter. And so he said that was the thing that tipped him off, that there was something wrong, and that led him to sort of question these two guys. So it really was like a Coen Brothers movie.